It's Easter weekend and many Christians will be headed to church. But will congregations follow COVID-19 regulations? Well, our reporter Monique Mortlock is finding just that out for us. She's attending the Good Friday service at St. George's Cathedral. Monique, what are church leaders and congregants saying about being back at church after such a long time?
Well, when I was at St. George's Cathedral early this morning, I still saw social distancing being put in place, people wearing their masks inside, congregants sanitizing their hands as they made their way inside the church. Congregants were telling me that they were excited to be back in church after nearly 2 years of having to spend their Easter weekend at home, because as you know, for most Christians around the world, the Easter weekend is one of the holiest weekends that we do celebrate. I'm now in the New Apostolic Church, the Silvertown congregation here in Athlone, where I've also spoken to some congregation members who some of them said that they were actually quite emotional being back in church to celebrate Good Friday after having to spend it at home, watching it on the television. That's just one of the ways that the New Apostolic Church has been trying to get its congregants to still partake in services. But to chat to us a bit more about this, I have with me Bishop Alvin Witten. Let's start with your thoughts on Easter weekend, finally being able to celebrate it together with your congregants in church.
Oh, it's been a long wait. And, you know, church is about fellowship. Jesus is about fellowship. So, and during the lockdown period, it was very sad for us. We understand that it was necessary, but it was very sad for us. So we are obviously excited about being able to worship together again, praise together, and just singing together. It's beautiful to be back again. Yeah.
Now, we know that some church leaders across South Africa have been complaining about the 50% capacity indoors, saying that government should take into account some of those smaller venues, calling for government to further relax those regulations. We know that those regulations are up for public comment now. It's ending tomorrow on the 16th of April. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that churches are ready to see that 100% capacity once again?
Look, we would love to see 100% capacity, but we do not have the sciences. So we need to trust the authorities in terms of what the decisions are made. And if the church is about love and God is about love, then by loving my neighbor at this point in time, I have to social distance, I have to sanitize, I have to do what is required. So we'll take lead from what the authorities and the sciences that will dictate what is necessary. We are just thankful that we are able to worship together again and just enjoy fellowship again. Yeah.
And lastly, Bishop, tell me what have been some of the measures that your church has put in place to ensure the safety of members, and for those who still may not feel comfortable coming to church, what other measures have been put in place to ensure that they still take part in the services?
Well, there's a real fear among some members that not to be interacting with people. Obviously, some have comorbidities, which makes it even difficult for them to be able to do so. Our church has put measures in place in the beginning already, where we have a central divine service, either from this church or the one in Kabega Park in Retreat, where these services are broadcast via the various media platforms that we do have available. And it's free, it is streamed, and members have access then to be able to enjoy and be part of the service and be part of the word that is given to them. Even though they are at home, they feel part of the community. So those are the measures we've done.
And I saw that even with the congregation members sitting in their chairs, there were alternate rows that were empty. So in that way, I see the social distancing still taking place.
Oh, yes, we have to observe that. Yeah, absolutely, we have to observe that. Again, as I said, if I love my neighbor, I must do what's best to protect my neighbor. And if protecting my neighbor is keeping my mask on, then so I will do it, you know. And eventually we pray together with all others that obviously we will be able to reach 100% capacity again, but we'll wait on the authorities and the scientific advice to advise us.
Thank you very much. That was Bishop Alvin Witten from the New Apostolic Church here in Athlone, Silvertown congregation, chatting to us there about some of the measures that the church has put in place to ensure not only the safety of its congregants, but also of the staff members here in the church.